We have a full moon in Sagittarius at 20 degrees, and it's going to open up doors of opportunity that are rather golden. And because that's Jupiter's sign and he's in his exaltation in Cancer, this is the first Sagittarius moon full that we've had in 12 years in which Jupiter in our heavens has been in such profound strength. So I think I might call this golden opportunities emerge from a full moon, but whatever it's called, I like the vibe. And there's also some very sweet things going in the sky regarding themes of opportunity, happy endings after times of struggle, and also positive developments regarding the word house. And that's because of an asteroid involved, whether it's you trying to find a home to live in, rent a home, sell a home, or just being at home in yourself. So let's get going and talk about this golden opportunity vibration of a full light, a full moon at 20 degrees of Sag. It is happening on June the 11th, 2025. And you'll see it unfold over the 2 weeks that follow and even up to 6 months later. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lori Lothian, and I am using Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology. I love fixed stars and minor asteroids, which is why we're talking about the asteroids house, Ops for opportunity, Isis for flooding the Nile River full of fertile growth, and also Altjira, an asteroid that's being reflected by this lunation that allows you to vision your truest dreams and goals, to make your visions and dreams come true. As magical as it sounds, it is a positive energy that this moon reflects back to us. And if you're new here and you don't know much else about me, check out my description box below. You'll find everything about readings with me, etc., but also my website, but also that I'm teaching my Sky Reader class yet again. It's coming up in July and August, 6 weeks live with me to be your own astrologer, time your best life. If you want to learn a little bit of astrology, just enough to make some predictions for yourself, then come aboard and see if you don't like learning a little bit of your own astrology. And in the information box below, you'll see everything you need to know about that. Also, I think for now for sale still are my 2025 All Signs bundles. That's 24 hours of video content, 2 hours for each sign, and a PDF guidebook for each sign written by me. And if you want to get that for half price, $33, share with friends and family, listen for Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's still there for you in the description box below. All right, so guys, I'm recording the front end of this on May the 26th for my Patreon community, early access ad free. But also, I'm recording it before I know what's going to unfold in the world because I'm getting ahead of my recording schedule due to some other plans in my life. So I'm going to mention the situations when it comes to war in the world, particularly the war in the Middle East. There's some indications from this moon that we may see some flashbacks to things that happened on the new moon on November 30th. And I'm going to talk about that just briefly in the world astrology. Normally what I do here, just so you know, is I give about 20 minutes up front about world events that may be connected to a lunation and which people and countries are most likely impacted. And then I talk about your sign, and the second half will do you. And that will probably mean this video is about an hour and 15 minutes long. To listen for your sun sign is to listen for matters to do with career purpose, and it represents your true core innate nature and eternal self. To listen for your moon sign is how you feel about life, and it's also your home and home-based matters. I often say like an eclipse to your moon could eclipse your home, right? And I just had that happen, and I'm moving. Second of all, if you're listening for, or last of all, if you're listening for your rising sign, you're listening to things that may have lots to do with your character in the simulation. I'm telling you, all my stuff is around me. Character in the simulation, and it also, therefore, is most circumstantially accurate. Your life is going to reflect circumstantial changes based on your rising sign. Now, let's get talking about the sky. First things first, I'm going to show it to you. I want to remind you that November 30th, there was a 9-degree Sagittarius new beginning, new moon, fresh start. That means you, me, and the world planted a seed at that point in our sky, and that we are now seeing the fruitful fulfillment of the seed that was planted on the full moon. Now, full moons bring closure, revelation, insight, and fruitfulness. So it's kind of a culminating energy, right, in the sky to really show you what the seed planting was about back then. Well, when I looked at world events and I was curious to find out more, I noticed that back on November 30th of 2024, because I want to see what seeds were planted in the world when it comes to difficult circumstances, maybe connected to war, I noticed that back then that was the hostage crisis where Hamas released a video of Israeli-American hostage Eden Alexander. And of course, I think that is the guy who's now been returned home. But also the big news story then was the Israeli airstrike on a car in the Gaza Strip that was the World Central Kitchen group. Okay, that made headlines, and it was all shock and awe and gasp and oh my God, how could something like this happen? Well, I mean, now that just seems so innocent, doesn't it? Like something like that. If you actually track what's happening, it has been happening, there are even worse atrocities. So I would bring it up only because there's a very strong possibility, because this is a particular lunation that activates Donald Trump's sun very powerfully and his North Node. And as I record this on May 26th, there's a whispers in the news cycle, probably leaked, by the way, from the Central Intelligence Agency, etc., to the newspapers, that there is a Hamas ceasefire deal in the works with Donald Trump, and it will be announced as of May 26th in a few days. And I do think that this is going to take us full circle on June 11th back to matters of this war because of Donald Trump's activation through the Sagittarius and Gemini corridor, which activates his natal moon and his natal sun. Now, one thing about, he's a full moon. One thing about this is that I don't know if this is true news or it's, propaganda news that's just come out, to sort of thwart maybe any worse disasters happening. But sometimes I find these bookends are very succinct. When something happens on a new moon, then the bookend is going to be very much relevant to the kind of quality of the stories we saw. So on the 30th, we saw something to do with hostages, and on the 30th, we saw something to do with atrocities. Either of those themes may emerge around the 11th, 12th of June as a sort of fulfillment bookend to the new moon plantings. Let's see what happens. In my May 2025 overview video for the month, I actually have predicted, and it's even in my headline, peace treaties will be formed this month. And of course, in the video, I talked about the wars in the world and which ones were most likely to have peace. So we're still working till the end of the month. I'm recording on the 26th, but I do expect peace treaties to be having formed from the sky that we had in May, particularly as the end of May approached. So let's get going now, and let me show you the sky. I also noticed that a boat capsized in the Niger River on the 30th, and I see Isis getting activated, the goddess of the floods of the Nile River. And so there's something about water floods or catastrophes or challenges or whatever going on in our sky at the moon to do with water. Let's go ahead, hang on a sec, and pull up the chart so you can see it too. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to sit on my window ledge because they're doing house showings here today, and I'm recording between, prospective buyers, and I can't really set up my entire lighting kit and stuff and come, take it up and down. So you're looking at me just doing my best. Well, a real estate agent is trying to sell the property that my landlord has rented to me for 2.5 years. All righty, here we have the sky. Am I sharing just to make sure? Okay, great. And if you're new here and you want to like and subscribe and try me out, I'd really appreciate that. And to all my regulars, welcome back. And please check that you're still subscribed. YouTube probably dumped a couple thousand subscribers from my channel during the month of May. And let me know if you're one of them. Now, on June the 11th, 2025, this is our sky. You're going to notice that at the bottom of the chart is Jupiter, and Jupiter is sitting with asteroid House and Mercury. Good news about the word house. Now, house is a funny word because it could mean your home, but it could be metaphorical too. Home is where the heart is, feeling at home. And good news, Mercury and Jupiter, everything good. And that's just happening in our sky at the maybe house like White House. It's just happening at the time of the moon. But what matters is, of course, Jupiter is the dominion lord of Sag. He owns the Sagittarius real estate. And this is his moon here. It belongs to Jupiter. Conceivably, in conjunct between them, the inability to give testimony 5 houses apart can mean that Jupiter's not as strong as he could be in influencing the outcome of the moon. That's arguable, right? Or it's true or not true. We can be empiricists of the story and see what happened. Because he's exalted, he's going to do his best. He's exalted in the temple of the moon. And this is a full moon in his kingdom. And therefore, Jupiter is in the kingdom of the moon, and the moon is in the kingdom of Jupiter, Sagittarius. And what this creates is called a mutual reception, which gives it incredible power. It's a super powered broadband fiber hotlink uplink. It's a high-speed satellite downlink, whatever, between these planets. The moon wants to please Jupiter, and Jupiter wants to please the moon. Now, Jupiter is justice. Jupiter is kindness or goodness or wealth or prosperity or children or faith and hope and optimism. So we have to remember how good Jupiter is. And he's bending over backwards to please a moon in his kingdom, a full light in his kingdom. Donald Trump has his sun in the late degrees of Gemini and his North Node. You'll see in the sign below here, this is, let me annotate for you guys, okay? There's Jupiter with the asteroid house and Mercury. This is the moon in mutual reception to Jupiter in each other's kingdoms. And then you'll notice that over here, the sun is being reflected by the moon, right? The moon is actually at 20 degrees to be clear, not 21, but it's okay. Just trust me that it's perfectly as it is. It's 20-degree moon. And as this is occurring, the moon reflects the sun. That's how we have a full light in the sky, a full moon. But it's reflecting the asteroid America, and it's reflecting this particular asteroid right here, Altjira. So the moon is reflecting the goodness of these things to the extent that it can. So it's going to show up ideally, positively in our life, because Altjira is an asteroid that's positive. Let me read it to you. The meaning of this asteroid, Altjira, that the moon is reflecting as it sits with the sun, is a creation deity of the Aranda indigenous people from Australia's Northern Territory. Altjira brought the universe into being by dreaming it. It is said that Altjira is willing to help anyone who asks and who is willing to work with the dream time. The dream time is the base reality where all of this sprouts from. If you move things in the dream time, you certainly move them in the matrix, finding solutions in our dreams and applying them when we awaken. So there's a magical dreamtime activation of greater power for us to manifest from the deepest place within ourselves that this moon in Sagittarius is going to offer up. And maybe the best question we can ask ourselves is, what if? I would say that use this moon to dream journal or write and ask, what if I was rich? What if I was happy in a relationship? What if I was healthy? What if the war here or there was no longer here? What if? So use the what if principle to magically encounter the potency of this lunation. That's my humble advice. But everyone here planted a seed of some sort back in the day. I don't know what seed you planted. When I look at this, it was a new moon and a new beginning, November 30th, on my midheaven, the high point of my career. And in that regard, perhaps with the moon midheaven 11th house energy for me, I might have, it was right on my midheaven at 9 degrees on the fixed star Antares. That's where Antares sits, around 9 Sag, that I planted a new beginning of a plan or a direction in my career. I'm not going to talk about what that is because I know what that is now. I'd rather just let it sort of incubate in the dream time for me. And now the fulfillment energy is asking me to step in and continue it further and to help it ripen and fruit fully over the next few months. Which reminds me that every moon that we plant, the new moon seed last November 30th, takes up to 6 months to continually unfold its narrative. So if you think about the darker side of the unfortunate new moon on Antares at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, Antares is a star of war. And it is a red star, and it is an aggressive star. And in many ways, therefore, we can say that the seeds that were planted regarding war situations in the world, in this case, of course, I'll use the Middle East as a prime example, became ever more horrific from things we saw happen, such as the World Aid Food Kitchen truck being targeted. More and more, 220 something journalists have been assassinated in Gaza. Think about that for a minute. And so that's not an accident, a casualty of war. That's targeted to their home, to their cars. That's just one example of the atrocities. And therefore, there's a possibility, therefore, in all of our world stories, that seed was kind of rotten. It involved an intensity that we may not appreciate, but there is a divine plan. There is a reason everything happens. I do not believe that. I know that to be true. This is going to be a moon that could make a turning of the way that this war has unfolded. For the moon is reflecting the light of the house of international pressure, courts, and foreign countries, of the nation of I, right? In the Middle East. And it's activating a moon in its third house of local environment, neighbors and neighborhoods, and news stories. As I record this on May the 26th, there's a massive celebration in the old part of Jerusalem up against the Wailing Wall, where thousands and thousands of super religious right wing people, young people, whatever people, are jumping up and down and dancing for joy. At the very same, because the refrain is that they're going to, this celebration was when in 1967, Israel claimed the territory of Eastern Jerusalem and got that piece of the real estate back for themselves from the Arab world. And now you're seeing the chanting and celebratory voices in that 1,000 people throng, bumping up and down, chanting and celebrating. That this is now celebration, that now Gaza is the next territory that they will next own. Do you see what I mean? So I'm recording this on May 26th, just on a day that a whole school was bombed that was being used as a refuge. And if you haven't heard about the story, you should go watch the news. There are 42,000 orphan children by last count. There are 16,000 dead children by last count. So I know this is dark. I'm sure this is not good for my advertising metric here. So I see a turning point here. I see some shift of perspective, some dramatic, miraculous, hopeful change that could occur as this moon becomes obviously connected to those older stories. And this moon, let's say June 10th, 11th, and 12th, look for some resolution around the war situation there, only mostly because also I see Donald Trump highly involved with the Sun North Node energy in Gemini. Just as a world principle, the moon is co-present with, but actually in aversion to, unexpected, shocking, flooding waters. Okay, so we can see floods coming off of this moon for sure. Jupiter is expanding the energy of water. You know, he inflates what he touches, he makes it larger, and therefore the water sign of Cancer is being inflated. The moon rules tides and tidal poles, and it's full. So there will be some flooding stories coming off the full moon around global flooding events around June the 9th, 11th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, or some major turbulence around difficulties with water that are a little bit surprising. Uranus represents earthquakes, by the way, in the sign of Taurus. So hopefully not a tsunami, but those are the things that could occur coming off this full moon. Venus is trying to bonify everything in the Taurus sky. So she'll try her best to keep damage to the minimum, like a miracle story. More people should have been hurt or harmed or killed, but no, it was much better than we all expected. It could be. So there's that. And then finally, hardship. Okay, opportunity. Ops, the wife of Saturn, Rhea, Ops is her other name. She brings like good things and thrival after times of difficulty. So you can say opportunity, abundance, thrival after times of challenge in the Taurus part of the sky. This is on the New York Stock Exchange Sun, and Jupiter is flowing in a whole sign, sextile, and he is also in a gentle sextile to Venus. We may see some turnarounds in the economy or the market, the stock market stories around June the 11th that make, of course, it look like a return to prosperity or the end of a downdraft in a turbulent market. I did predict stock market shakeups in the month of May in my May video that's already out, and so that is occurring in the last couple of weeks of May. And then this could be the turnaround story for the world. Now, when we talk about your sign, my focus is going to be on a particular subject matter. It's going to be a strong focus for you on how you can harness this energy of this moon to dream into being something that you truly desire as you reflect the dream of Gemini into the full results of Sagittarius. Both of those parts of your sky are beautifully activated in the 2 weeks that follow June 11th and up to the 6 months that fulfill itself later on, the continuing story. Now, the moon happens to occur at the bending of the node of fate at 20 degrees of Sag, puts the moon at the north bending. That means that this is going to propel you towards some extension of ambition, worldly success, prosperity, because that's the North Node's job. And the moon wants to reflect that impulse to expand, from Pisces, from Jupiter's home sign as well, into greater ninth house, greater Sagittarius house success. So it's a really successful golden opportunity vibration because it's really activating that North Node trine Jupiter that becomes very exact as we approach September the 4th. And that is a once every 100 odd year event. We had it last, I think, in either 1895 or 1858, but in the 1800s. So rarity makes this very special. This moon is collaborating with the fulfillment of energies August and September. So don't forget, every full moon takes up to 6 months to fulfill itself. So when I talk about your sign, I'm going to draw it out a bit to say, don't look for results on June 10th or 11th. Goodness gracious, no. Rather think about it as this full fruitfulness around prosperity and success and ambition and destiny that's opening up doors of golden opportunity as you dream something from dream time into the real world, into the world of the matrix and manifestation, the manifest world. And it's that in that way, it's extraordinary and it's so positive. So I hope you'll go with that flow with me. Mars supports this lunation. He's like, I'm on board at 26 degrees of Leo. Yes, 3 degrees from Donald Trump's ascendant is flowing to this moon as well. Just so you know, the nation of Iran is a Leo rising, and this could be positive for the nation of Iran, avoiding a catastrophic war through backroom deals and negotiations with Jupiter, because I know that Donald Trump ran on an anti-war platform. There are huge pressures coming from a particular part of the Middle East for him to go to war, so to speak, or demolish the Iranian enrichment facilities underground in Iran, which would be a nuclear radiation disaster. And all said and done, I don't think that's going to happen, because I think even though there's a strong impulse for that to occur, Mars on the ascendant of Donald Trump is flowing to this lunation. So I'm being hopeful here, because I think there's an alternative universe where we split timelines, and there's one universe where this is what happens, and there's one where this is avoided. And I've already said, look to news stories leaked by the press, leaked by intelligence agencies, that should come out Thursday, the 29th, or Friday, the 30th of May, that are meant to avert the worst case scenario in that kind of storyline, including news stories that are being leaked. This is a Mercury Cazimi connected to anything to do with world calamities and wars. All right. So don't forget, news printed by Wall Street Journal at all, when they say we've got sources, information, and it's, people in the know, that's purposely provided by intelligence agencies to these papers in order to direct the narrative. And just in case you think I'm a conspiracy nut, I'm not. I'm a psychic. I'm a Cassandra. I see what's happening and nobody believes me, and then it happens. And I used to be really good friends with two intelligence officers who are high up in their career, and when I used to live near Washington, D.C. So I always knew the backdrop and the scoop of stuff before you guys did. I know they probably weren't supposed to tell me, particularly the female, my friend. And the other thing about that is that there are good people in these agencies who believe in what they're doing. Okay. And they're not always manipulated. Even in Israel Mossad, right? There are people who have been yelling, and even generals, that the approach of the very strong right-wing Zionist religious fundamentalists of the Israeli Knesset are not in alignment. But, you take your orders, right? You take your orders. So that's what I got for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'm stopping now to let the real estate agent let the people in. And then I'm going to come back and do part 2, where I'm going to, with great enthusiasm, inform you of one of the best lunations in the year. There's a few of them. Certainly the Cancer new moon. This one's more complicated, more nuanced, because it's full light coming off of a seed planted last year in November 30th. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys like this kind of content. Don't forget to, give me my channel some support. It was kind of disheartening in May because I saw a lot of people being dropped off the channel. I mean, because I know my views are normal, but my subs are way down, and it's not controversial content I put out. It's because I've got a leak in the bottom of my boat called they're dumping subs out. I might have to get in touch with someone over there again and say, guys, stop it already. Thank you. I'll see you guys on part 2. We're going to get going, and you won't even know that I'm gone to a coffee shop to write. Well, someone views my place. About to go through the all signs delineation for this amazingly intense, beautiful moon that reflects the light of Altjira. How do we want to create something out of nothing from the dream time? How do we want to go deeper into reality creation using this lunation? So let's get started with Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Don't forget, I introduced in the beginning to listen for your sun sign when you're listening to matters connected to career and purpose, and to listen to your home things with your home and where you live is your moon sign. And when you're listening to matters to do with your rising sign, it's all circumstantial areas of life that could go through change. So let's start with you, Aries. We'll be together for the next 45 minutes, whipping through these signs to give you a sneak peek of this sky. Well, first of all, Aries, sun, moon. And don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. There's a lunation that's full up in the top of your ninth house of God that came off of a seed that was planted last November 30th. So what is it that you're trying to create? What seed are you trying to plant in matters of dharma, being on purpose, following a path that's true for you, feeling like you're on your true course, true north in life? Underneath that, there's also the possibility of book publishing, publications, matters connected to long distance travel, visas, and also higher education. And seeds were planted in November. I'm an Aries sun, and I planted a seed by starting my Substack column publications, and I publish on Substack now. So this writing publications energy was activated last fall for me, and now I'm fulfilling or fruiting or ripening something up in the ninth house. If any of you have any desire to travel to far off foreign lands and shores, a full moon lights the way and shows you where that's possible. But understand, of course, that it is reflecting the beautiful light of Altjira. Why is my house system not in whole sign houses? This is so weird. I never use any other house system ever, ever, ever. I'm like, what? Whole sign house, please. Oh my God, that's almost like debilitating to look at. And so back to the story. I was still in the same story, but I can like not get my eyes crossed. Jupiter is the Lord of the storyline. He is in the fourth house. It's also like prosperity in and from your home, connected to communications, and being in the house, so to speak, allows for this dharmic fulfillment to occur. Prosperity from the home. Should you publish? Should you get a book publishing deal? Should you, Altjira, in the house of writing, write something that you really care about? For some of you, it's that simple. Altjira is making you available to work deeper from the dream time, to make some dreams and wishes come true. And Altjira is being reflected by that moon. You do have a lot of opportunity for abundance and positive surprises, a flood of fertility and financial gain coming through that Jupiter and second house story. And the moon says it all involves looking at the element of your purpose in life. If you are on purpose, you will prosper. If you are allowing yourself to dream the big dream of what it is that is meaningful and purposeful to you and for you, whether it is to travel abroad, to go to higher educational learning centers and learn, to publish something important, to find your spiritual truth and path in life, that's the ninth house, then prosperity and abundance will follow in surprising and unexpected ways as you also prosper in and from the home. This is an ideal setup for writing from home, communicating from home, and in your social media sphere, the third house, also experiencing greater blessings in the next 6 months. Moons can complete when they're full. Ninth house represents third long-term marriage relationships, and possibly therefore some of you are fulfilling or completing a longer-term third type marriage relationship. That is entirely okay. If that is something that's occurring in your life, it's because it's going to bring you blessings. If you look back in time to last November, did you have some decisions or turbulence in a longer term committed love relationship that is as solid as if it was your third marriage partner? So usually a number of years together or cohabitation. Good luck with that, Aries. I think that for the most part, because you've got Saturn in your first house, you're realistic as all hell. There's no way you're going to do anything that isn't in alignment with being sober-minded, realistic, and assessing the situation from a practical standpoint, in love, in money, in home with Mars trining this moon. Your passionate creativity fortifies this lunation to greater success. If you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or a creative, then start aiming for those purposeful, meaningful directions of creativity, of entrepreneurial expression, and see what happens. Good luck with that. I'm wishing you the very, very best. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, the energy of this moon that is full in the sign of Sagittarius on June 11th is seated from November 30th new moon, and it is a chunky money house. So it can be like inheritance monies, chunks of money coming from tax rebates or insurance, or investments in the markets. That kind of thing is fulfilling itself with a big spotlight. But the eighth house is also the occult mysteries, and places often where we experience some of the deepest wounds of abandonment, betrayal, and shame. Often we work psychologically at the soul level in our lives connected to eighth house matters. So there's a lot of focus, a light that shines there deeply into the hidden depths of the eighth house. And with that light, that big light, what did you start? Or what did you begin maybe in November that would have been about a course correction to do with your own sabotaging thoughts, the way you have had challenges with money, especially banks, loans, or mortgages, the way you have been your own worst enemy of self-undoing with addictions, bad habits, patterns, and self-undoing. If those things are something you were trying to course correct last November, then November into December, then this is literally the fulfillment and the spotlight on the next journey of the next 6 months in that regard. And Saturn is giving you a sober, sage-like wisdom in the 11th house and can really help you assess any self-undoing with a real keen eye for understanding and realistic appraisal. If you're somebody here who wants to travel abroad or go off to distant shores and lands, there may be some doors opening for that travel or that distant shore storyline to come up in the 6 months that follows this moon. And if you do, you might even go more on a spiritual soul questing travel than just say for fun or for recreation. It is inviting you to more ashram-like solitude as well. This moon is talking to Chiron in the house of solitude in a flowing way. And to be alone is to be powerful. To be introspective and contemplative is to be powerful. You can do that because it can increase your self-awareness and help you heal karmic wounds and also ancestral and familial wounds from your childhood. Indeed, Mars in the bottom of the chart is saying the same thing. Let's heal the past, especially from childhood, especially from ancestors, especially from patterns from other lives. Mars can have you move your home. When? No, not on June the 11th, but certainly within 6 months of this. You may be opening up to a new home and making a move. And if you do, it will be successful and you will have the financial ability to do that. You may, in the first 2 weeks after the moon, see evidence of a relocation for yourself. And you may also see evidence of an opportunity to buy or sell property, land, and real estate through business deals and contracts and partners. Now, one more thing is that I love Venus with you right now. During this lunation, Venus is trying to show you all is well. You are well. It is good. There is nothing wrong with reality. And you're feeling better and better and better about yourself as you also see happy endings suddenly and surprisingly arising after times of difficulty and times of travail. Perhaps you'll have a lot of emotional flood, but I think this is floods of emotion for positive reasons coming through in June 11th. 2 weeks. And I do want to say that if you are at all thinking of travel at all, any kind of travel, Jupiter, Lord of the Lunation, says travel for deep spiritual reasons or potentially for financial reasons. What do you want to create in your long-term finances, or what do you want to change in your dietary habits, including addictions? Those are the questions that Altjira will have you reflect on as the moon will try to bring fulfillment to those areas of your life. It's time to dream a dream of prosperity or health, because the health I'm talking about is the self-undoing. It could be an addiction, it could be a bad habit with your dietary style, but you can make major shifts here because this moon is allowing for that dream time, deep dive, envisioning from deep within yourself what it is you truly want. Thank you, Altjira, on the sun and the moon reflecting you. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. There is the full Sagittarius moon in that third, in that seventh house of long-term committed relationship. Seeds were planted here last November 30th into the month of December, especially 2 weeks after. What were you doing in your long-term committed love stories? Otherwise, this could also have been connected to matters to do with how you approach your audience, marketplace, customers, and clients for the seventh house, this 10th house from the 10th. Now, things that happened back then, especially let's say in December, were seeds for the fruiting now. Full moons are about fulfillment, ripening, and completion. And some of you may be looking at the completion of a relationship, but you may also be looking at the fulfillment of something here rather than an ending. It's really going to be an interesting journey to see which way this baby falls. Having Mars trining the moon from the third house could indicate some movement in the month of June, a geographical relocation to a new neighborhood or new area within your local neighborhood. And that will be true June 11th, even add 2 weeks or up to 6 months later. The moon could fulfill a move, but connected also to relationship, moving out from the relationship, moving in with somebody, or if not that, simply moving, because the seventh house is illegal contractual agreements for the loans or the moves or the buying a house or renting a house. And then with Juno in the house of rentals, it looks more like an opportunity to rent a property and move in some way. I want to remind you that you're reflecting Altjira. Altjira, it's like, what is it you can source from deep within the dream time, that you can go deep within the still point of yourself and begin to see what it is you really want, to begin to vision and understand what you want, especially what you want, because Altjira and the sun is in the sign of Gemini. So it's you, your sun. What do you Gemini suns want in your career? Truly, Gemini moons in your home and home life, and Gemini rising in your whole life, any area. What do you truly want? And so you have to go in and source that understanding so that the moon can reflect it in the outer world of other people. And indeed, it's possible that by understanding what you truly desire and how you want to make it come true, you could actually have other people enter your life that help fulfill that and ripen those dreams. Because you're also having Venus and Jupiter in an angle together of positivity, there's a good financial success story happening here as well. It looks like maybe Jupiter can give you some lucky breaks in the money story regarding land, property, real estate, and buildings. Houses here, and you got Venus, backroom deals and negotiations, and happy endings after times of travail on money matters. And the moon says partners, contractual agreements that resolve some financial money matters that may have been ongoing in your story. The moon is in a square to the south node, so possibly it has to do with changing home, letting go of a home, or leasing a home. Those sorts of stories show up here as well. And the moon squares the north node, activating in an applied aspect an increase of attention to your reputation and career. But ultimately, it's truly more about a deal, a negotiation, a business partner, a relationship, and some major fulfillment, endings, changes, or completions showing up in the sky for you. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. Full Sagittarius light shining brightly in a moon in your sixth house on June 11th that was seeded November 30th. So therefore, last year in December, the seeds were planted for what it is you're trying to do in the workhouse. This is job, work, and service. Sometimes it's health, and in full moon will spotlight areas of your life that you need to improve your health. With Jupiter in the sign of your Cancer identity, then it's really also connected very strongly for especially Cancer rising, physical wellness. For Cancer sun, wellness and prosperity connected to career. Cancer moon, of course, things to do with your home life and being healthy. I would say with house involved, it's very much about coming home to yourself. But if you're a Cancer moon, it's about finding a better home or a good home from which you can work at home, or for whom being in that home facilitates positive developments in work and job. The moon is trining Chiron in the career house. What is it that you want to do in life that's on purpose and is of great service to the world? The new moon last year also activated that in November 30th, and now it's fulfilling that answer to that question. And Saturn says you're realistic as all hell, because you're going to bring some kind of new career potency, some wisdom and sagacity, and some discipline to creating the career that you really want and the kind of work you really want. Do you want a pet? Nothing like a full moon to fulfill that. And possibly a new pet may emerge. And you may get that new pet from a friend. It could come through a friend, ally, benefactor saying, here, extra dog, cat for you. Why don't you take it? Happy endings after times of difficulty when it comes to relationships, to friends and groups of belonging, and maybe the way in which you make money, your gains of your career, sudden, unexpected, prosperous opportunities emerging in that part of your chart as well. So if you do have a fulfillment of some new experience of positivity from in the career and workspace, maybe you get a raise, a promotion, an advancement, or some tip off from a friend about a new opportunity in a career matter. Mars is activating passion, drive, and ambition to make the money in the second house, flowing to the moon, saying, our passion, our drive, and ambition is going to pay off. Don't forget, you could also be a self-starter and do your own gig here. And I would suggest partnering with another in an entrepreneurial endeavor could emerge off of this moon as well. Dream the deep dream from the 12th house. This is where Altjira is being reflected from. This is nighttime, alone time, solitude time. Go deep within. Dream the dream of the perfect career and the perfect work environment for you. That's a lot of what this is here to say for you. And any health challenges, dream the dream of better health through the removal of your own self-undoing. Leo, sun, moon, rising. The full moon is shining in your 5th house. You seed planted here last year in November 30th. And so much of the first half of December, you were like clearly trying to initiate a beautiful new beginning for romantic love in relationship to your children, with fertility and conception, with entrepreneurial business projects, and creative and artistic pursuits. There was a new seed that was planted here last November. Now that it's becoming full and lit with a full moon, and that full moon wants to show you something, it wants you to take something actually from your 11th house. It's like with Altjira, the asteroid for the deep dream time where you can manifest something because you've deeply dreamed it. Well, Altjira is suggesting that the reflection of the moon in the 5th and the 11th is to align with your long range goals and dreams around love, around romance, around creativity. What do you truly desire, says Altjira sun, and move into a deeply purposeful movement in creativity, in romance, in love, and in relationship to your children, and in relationship to conception and childbearing storylines. And if you're in a relationship and it's not right for you, a full moon here can complete a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship. This moon is trining Mars, and you have the power to make decisions and actions because Mars is in your sign. So you are forceful, aggressive, decisive, action-oriented regarding what you need to end, complete, or fulfill in the 5th house stories. I do want to say that Chiron is helping you heal a chironic wound and a grand trine to connect you to the healing of purpose and meaning in life, but also healing when it comes to third long-term committed love stories and marriages, healing when it comes to long distance travel, healing when it comes to foreign countries and people. There's a lot going on. Like if you are romantically involved with a foreigner from your natal country, there's a healing that's trying to happen, but Mars is still good for cutting and ending and severing. For goodness sakes, he's opposite Pluto in your marriage house. Yeah, there is that. The moon is also at kind of squaring the nodes of fate, like small deal, not really, bending the nodes really. And I'm wondering if there's something that you want to accomplish here, something you want to achieve when it comes to destined change in your financial matters. And if you're going through separation or divorce, or you're thinking of going in that direction, then you're looking at how you can increase your prosperity, or your getting what you're worthy of getting what you're allowed to receive, like getting your highest good, right, off of this storyline. And in fact, the moon is really, like in this kind of chart, the moon is really opening you up to deeply fated changes in love and romance, deeply fated changes. Okay. They're not casual. They're deeply fated changes in love and romance and enjoyment and pleasure in life. So, and you can prosper from those changes. You can be, by moving into like finding your joy place, you can be more prosperous in life, Leos. whether it's joy in your creativity, your art, your entrepreneurship, or your love life. Finding that essential enthusiasm and inspiration in a faded way will help like take you out of hustle and help you prosper in ways that are less hard on you, that are easier to receive the money from. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, a lunation in a grand water trine, fulfilling a seed planting. Back in November 30th, so like the first 2 weeks of December, what seed plants did you do around home, property, land, and real estate? Maybe back in November and December, you were planting a seed for a new home. My Virgo rising daughter moved into a new home back then in November. Now there's a fulfillment light. Now it can be to take the light of the home and make it better and bigger, to improve it, to expand it, to change it. But a completion may be emerging in the next 6 months, indicating a new home, a change of home for you as well. Yeah, it can happen here. The full moon is also lighting up a trine, and there's Mars in a complicit support regarding whatever you're doing in the home to be better off in your life, because you've gotten rid of addictions, self-undoing, especially with Chiron. Some of these things come from your ancestral line, and maybe you're able to release, let go, and surrender, cut away from those addictions, especially with the South Node in the sign of Virgo. This is like a divine orchestration of releasing some kind of, in a positive flowing way. I would say to be simple, an addiction, but it can be so many things. There's a bit of a kite that's formed here with the sun, and it indicates that by letting go and releasing ancestral, familial, and past life hang-ups, you're going to be better off, and you're going to be fulfilling something profound. There is a light in the solar part of the sky of Altjira, the asteroid of making one's dreams come true in one's career, but it's reflected from the home and the ancestors and the family of origin and the childhood. There's to anything, I'd say therapy, I'd say hypnosis, I'd say past life regressions. Dump out the past, open up to this powerful dreams come true career that you're capable of creating in your life. Jupiter is the lord of the lunation. Yes, he's in the 11th house, increasing your career gains, no doubt about it, being at home in your career. This is what can happen from this moon, but you're doing some deep inner work. I do want to mention, of course, that with this moon at the square to the nodes of fate, there's a huge destiny play unfolding here. And this moon can also change your relationship to someone significant in your life in a positive way, but it can feel gritty. It's like grinding the gears in the car to make the changes necessary. I see you with a white flag. I surrender. What do you need to surrender in your life? Is it a relationship at a home, a person, an addiction? Something needs to be let go on this lunation. And the lunation will shine the light in the midnight hour to show you, the full moon in the midnight hour, what it is that by surrendering and releasing, you achieve that career success and the amplification of a better relationship to a significant partner in life. Oh my goodness, I'm having a hot flash. Don't forget, if you're in the live premiere, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. It helps my channel grow, and it tells YouTube to push this video out to more people. Put a lot of love into these videos, so love me back, guys. Thumbs up. Moving on. I need to get some more water, but let's see if I can keep on keeping on. No, I need water. I shall shortly return to the story of Libra. Yes, I'm back. Oh, I forgot to promote anything. Did I? Come join me at Sky Reader. Oh, it's probably in the intro. Hopefully it was in the intro. I very rarely separate the videos into two recordings and patch it together. Oh my God. Which is what I've done. So it puts me all confused about what I've told you guys. Let's get going here. All right, next. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Full moon, full light, big light. Coming up June 11th in your third house. The third house, of course, is, hopefully short distance travel, skills-based learning and teaching, writing and communicating, marketing and selling, social media, local neighborhood, aunts, uncles, cousins, and siblings, and the everyday world that you inhabit, going to the store, going to the gas pump, all of that. So that kind of local stuff. So a full light is shining here for Libras. And it's going to be coming off of the new moon, the new beginning, the seed planting last November 30th. What changes did you make last November connected to home, property, land, and real estate? I know a Libra who changed their home, but it's also connected in local neighborhood, change their neighborhood, but also things to do with your marketing, selling, communicating, writing, social media landscape, and seeds that were planted then. Now it's coming to a full light of fruition in a water trine and reflecting Altjira, the dream time energy. I'm going to start with the water trine. Mars is asking you to passionately pursue changes in the way you earn money, to fruitfully increase your gains. And at the same time, Mars is asking you with the moon to apply some energy towards healing a long-term committed love relationship or a relationship to your marketplace and audience. Now, Chiron here is like you choose the wounded partner or you're wounded in the schema of long-term love and business relationships. And so now there is this like, we will heal the story here. We'll find a solution. With Altjira on the sun, what are the deepest dreams and visions you have that you wish to create from the dream time? When it comes to book publishing, publications, foreign shores and travel, pilgrimages, higher learning, third marriage environments, connections to Dharma, spiritual life, and deep truth. All of that is up there. You can dream into being what it is you want to see. And you may find that the moon is asking you to reflect those dreams in the third house. So you can't publish a book without writing it. You can't necessarily fulfill your marketing, writing, and teaching goals and learning goals unless you apply for those schools. There's something that you got to do, the fulfillment of the order, so to speak. Now, with this lunation also connected to sort of the bending of the nodes, square the nodes of fate. And we're moving fast through the chart, right? The moon is back at 20 degrees, 21 degrees. It looks to me like you might be able to make a critical turning point in a job and career matter. Like that North Node is in the work house, Jupiter is in the career house, lunation lord. It looks like there's a major turning point in June around this lunation that's putting you into an increase of wealth and prosperity through career and work. But the wheel is turning for the change, you see. You have to make the change, and it's fated and destined change. Some of you may be working for a foreign company, company in a foreign land, maybe, and some financial opportunities emerging with the Venus-Jupiter combination as well when it comes to like chunks of money connected to your career, like a commission, a sign-on bonus, a severance package, there's a performance review bonus, royalty income. There's that increase as well. Every moon is about not just the lunation on June 11th. Remember, it unfolds over 6 months, and you'll have evidence of the major themes within the first 2 weeks. And that's what I've got for you. Yeah, you could get a pet out of this too, with the moon meaning home, bending the nodes of fate, with the North Node in the 6th house. Yes, and then 6 months that follow, some Libras may get an animal in the home. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a sky that shows me quite clearly here that the light is full in your money house, and you want to make more money or increase your money or shine lights on your resources, savings, and money that you have. This is about financial matters. You planted a seed here last November. Now it's fulfilling itself. If you're looking for changes financially, it's through your career. Mars is at the top of the sky, ending your job, quitting your job, changing your job. Someone in the job place leaves and you get their position. Changes, decisions, and actions in the job space, including passion and ambition, can bring some significant fulfillment of goals that you seeded for finances and career matters back in November and into December of last year. The moon also flows to Chiron, healing a chironic wound about work. The only other thing is dietary style can dramatically change as well. But more, maybe because you work so hard, you've been grinding, you've been eating like takeout food or pizzas. So now you're going to improve the food style as the light shines in the 2nd house. But it does look like a glow up in the material prosperity connected to work. So whether it's raise, promotion, new job, I don't know. And the moon is at the bending of the nodes of fate. So it's critical destined changes in the money and earning story. And entrepreneurs will succeed. Creative artists will succeed as well. Jupiter, lunation lord, says international. Jupiter, lunation lord, says back to school. Jupiter, lunation lord, says moving in alignment with your purpose and dharma in the work and career for greater success. And Venus agrees. And with the Venus opposition, more or less, to Juno, a golden opportunity, contractual agreement connected to work may emerge for a lot of you during this storyline. If you had any health challenges that were your own worst enemy and you caused them, right? Then you're going to also make major life changes to your dietary habits with a full moon shining a light on what you shouldn't be eating. We can't all eat legumes. Okay. I have an autoimmune disorder. I eat them, I get sick. You will find out things, discover new ways to eat that will make you way healthier and more prosperous. Deep dreams are coming from within your past lives, your karma, your ancestral line, from deep within your family of origin. You're deep dreaming with Altjira in the 8th house, and you're shining the light of those deepest truth and dreams into more prosperity. So look for those themes to emerge 2 weeks and 6 months after this moon. If I seem like I'm going fast, it's because in 20 minutes I have to see my YouTube advisor. And I was determined to make sure I got this video done in time because I have showings and inspections and people coming to look at the house. So I apologize if I'm speaking quickly. Maybe slow down my playback speed. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. The thing I want to mention is that full moon is in your sign. Like, I lost the moon because of the time. So let's move us back a day. All right. It's happening like a June 10th, 11th moon, time zone dependent. So here we have a full moon in your sign, and you planted new seeds last November 30th. And therefore, things that occurred like November, December, where you planted a new seed, are about your identity, Sag rising, Sag sun, your career, and Sag moon, your home life. And so now you have a chance to fulfill those energies, to bring them to completion or fulfillment. And it's like when you order at a restaurant, you're going to take the order was taken last year in November, December, and now you're going to deliver the goods from the kitchen. And the moon is full in your sign. It's good for self-understanding. And you want to look at, what do you really dream into being? What kind of long-term committed romantic love stories are you really looking for? And you're able to see that more clearly and reflect that back into conscious awareness. You might notice that there is a trine to Mars and a trine to Chiron. This is an indication that this is a moon that is going to fire trine up. Did I say water? Fire trine up romantic love, foreign travel in the next few months. You might meet somebody that heals a chironic wound who's from a foreign country or foreign land in long-term committed romantic love stories. You might even heal an existing relationship. You might heal a wound around fertility, children, and grandchildren. You may heal a chironic wound around creativity and entrepreneurship and international exposure. And if any of you are thinking you want to go to university or college to develop a greater understanding of a natural gift or talent that you were born with, there's a lot of educational opportunities that are emerging in the 2 weeks and the 6 months that follow the moon. The bending of the nodes of fate, the lunation, is like grinding the nodes of destiny into the 4th house, expansion, change of home. So a majority of you, especially ascendants, will change your home over the course of the next 6 months. You'll see evidence for that in the 2 weeks that follow this lunation. Want a pet? Absolutely. Destined, fated pet that brings happiness after times of difficulty. And a beautiful pet, a destined pet, and a surprising, unexpected pet. That's another story, as well as the home change. Again, let me know how it goes, but I can't see you staying where you live with the North Node in the 4th house, the moon representing home itself in the sign of you. And there is a shift in the home. Now, it could be a change in the expanding the home, increasing the home, building and outbuilding the home, but it can literally be a change of home. Jupiter, the lunation lord, gives you the financial means by which to change the home. Okay. And bring you a new house. So a lot of Sages will have changes of home coming through the sky that are protected, whether you're renting or buying. Both of those are true in this chart. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, the lunation is full in a 12th house placement that's so darn subtle. Dreams at night, contemplation, meditations, hypnosis, reveries, intuitive Akashic records. lighting up past lives, lighting up the deepest parts of yourself that are often misunderstood, not seen by you, or offside. Like you don't notice this story because you have to look there. And you planted a seed in this very spiritual liberation, moksha, awakening house last November into December. And the seed that was planted can fulfill itself. So those of you on spiritual paths, the moon is bending at the bending of the nodes of fate, and the south node in the ninth house could indicate spiritual surrender, spiritual release, and spiritual awakening. It could also have you surrender a long-term committed love relationship in the recognition that that one person in this third long-term committed marriage-like relationship is not for you. And that would be just fine under the sky. It's a destined turning point story. I would note too that there's a water trine to Chiron and to Mars, helping you heal family of origin, mother wounds, ancestral wounds, and wounds about where you belong and where you need to live. The sun is in your sixth house, could open up new places to live, to do with rental opportunities. And I want you to think about service and work, because there's something going on with the sun in the sixth house, with the deep dreams of the dream time, that you can go a little deeper into what does service look like. I mean, I want to be of service in this life. I want to do some work that serves some good or better, greater goal than my personal needs, because this is all very moksha and it's very deep. So you might dream into a new line of work, so to speak, that's more inspired, more passionate, and is of service to the world. Happy endings after times of travail and romantic love, as the floods of the Nile River and sudden surprising change governed by a Venus overlord happens, sextiling Jupiter in the long-term committed love house. I'm not going to say that this is a beginning or an ending, but if you're single, you may indeed in the 6 months that follow meet an amazing new romantic relationship partner and move in with them. In an existing relationship, you may also move in with them. So you're either going, but it's kind of a little at odds with the south node bending. It depends on if this is a first, second, third, fourth long-term love story. If it's your third, then it may also be the surrendered ending, and in the 6 months that follow, a new relationship. And go back to the mother wound, especially with Chiron here. Any last vestige of the unhealed mother wounds in your life are going to be finally released in a way that has never happened to you before. Okay. It's like a beautiful electric charge of change to heal something from your childhood or from your mother relationship that is completely magical and will apply for the next 3 years to how you are more. It'll give you a more long-term place to live when you heal that wound. There's a mother wound. Mother represents home, and you're trying to heal it. Aquarius, I'm one of you. I'm a rising. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. The first thing I want to say is that back in November 30th, so you can say November, December, you planted a seed in Sag, which is your 11th house of great gains from your career, reputation, celebrity, more money, the financial gain of the career, long range goals, dreams, and wishes for your life, and friendship groups and circles of belonging. It's a lucky house. It can bring windfalls. You've been in this kind of development stage for 6 months, and now you're going to fulfill something here. You may really radically change the way you approach the career earnings to fulfill a new direction that's more in alignment with your deeper purposes, gifts, and talents. Chiron, talents to do with writing, selling, marketing, teaching, and communicating. Chiron in your third house, aligning with a fulfillment in terms of career gains in powerful new ways, or long range goals and dreams for one's life. Say one is retired, they're on the shift. And Mars is saying changes in long-term committed love. Now, Mars here, he cuts ends and severs or separates you from long-term committed love partners. Maybe that's been ongoing since last November, December. Now, this doesn't mean it's also perfect. It could mean that there's a healing, Chiron, in a long-term relationship, but sometimes beginnings are healings, middles are healings, and endings are healings. So something is changing in a long-term relationship that is very profoundly healing. And it may take you back to some matters connected to childhood as well. Jupiter is the lunation lord, and he's sitting in your sixth house of work and health. And he's really going to open up opportunities for work that bring more fulfillment in your career and the gains of your career. And with Venus and Jupiter in a nice conversation and happy endings after times of difficulty, there's a fulfillment of home, success, abundance, and opportunity and prosperity, perhaps connected in June to a home that's a rental property. The moon is at the bending of the nodes of fate. Oh, and a pet. Sorry. And you couldn't get it. Jupiter says, more pets? More pets, anybody? That could happen as well. Now, one thing I want to note, the bending of the nodes of fate or just squaring the nodes of fate, the moon is there. And so you need to surrender and let go of an eighth house matter, reliance on investments monies, chunky money, ad money, reliance on or focus on career gain money coming from spousal support, inheritance monies, other people's monies, unearned income, as you move towards a fulfillment of more hustle and increase because of the activity you're doing in order to create or earn income. That's a positive moon for a huge increase, but it's a gritty change as you have to make some changes in the way that you've been earning money. And there's going to be a kind of pivot here of some sort. Dream the deepest dream from the heart of your soul of artistic, entrepreneurial, and creative expression. Because the moon is reflecting Altjira in that fifth house, you are pregnant with a new vision for your life, coming from deep within your natural gifts and talents that you were born with. So the artist in you and the writer in you and the communicator and the teacher are all being lit up as new ways of earning money are fulfilled here. You knew in November something had to change. I'll tell you, for me, it's like Mars is cutting off the clients. I'm phasing out of seeing clients at all. I only opened 12 spots up for the month of June. Maybe in July I'll open 12, but as I move towards and my Patreon community gets first dibs on them, as I move towards the fall, I can see myself busy writing and no longer doing clients. I can't do it all. I can't write books, including my astrology book, if I don't have time. And so something has to give. So here's an example for you. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. So back November 30th, so think November, December-ish, you planted a Sagittarian lunation in the career house. You knew back then you wanted to seed something new in your reputation and career and visible actions in the world, your 10th house. And as you were planting the seed last year, now you're going to fulfill, let it harvest, like let the tree branches ripen with the fruit of that decisions you were making last November, December into something fulfilling and bright and big in the 10th house. You're trying to seed from the dream time of the midnight hour, the solar energy. This can be seeding something deep connected to your father and childhood and relationship to that father. You could be seeding something connected to your childhood issues and dreams as you dream into your 10th house, expressed from the house of your childhood. There can be a deep father wound healing that connects to fulfillment of career success off of this lunation, because you go into the dream time, you work with the dream time, and you remove some challenge with the father for both the sun and the moon are the nodal bendings. And so therefore it's a critical, destined, fated turning point. And some parts of your life connected to spouse connect to father wounds. And some of you are dealing with, oh my God, not that I married my father, but whatever issues you had with father figures from childhood have been reflected in your relationship to significant marriage type partnerships. And at this point, you're releasing and letting go of those patterns. You don't have to let go of the partner, but some of you might do that. Or you'll let go of the patterns connected to the relationship itself. For the 10th house is the house of weddings and the social acceptance of your relationship. Status, I'm divorced, I'm married, I'm widowed. Those are 10th house stories. So some changes there are pretty big for a lot of Pisces people. Now, Mars is talking to the moon in a trine and flowing to the fourth, rental property. Some of you are going to change your home and move into a new property, to rent a property. You may be a landlord and renting out a property, but some of you are going to change your home and rent a property. And at the same time, heal a chironic wound around your self-worth when it comes to earnings, money, and resources. Certainly for a lot of you, you've been dealing with that maybe chironic wound of either food style, bad addictions, bad habits, or maybe a wound around am I worthy of being wealthy? Do I have enough to make my own money? Can I be self-resourceful and resilient? Well, you can now. Saturn entered your second house. He's going to have you take your money, your earnings, and your resources seriously. And over the next 3 years, he's going to have you work hard for your money. But you're healing in this moon a chironic wound around your earnings, resources, and your financial wellness. And it really lights up the father story, particularly in the fourth house, being a kind of seed of where the financial wound comes from. Daddy left me too early. Daddy abandoned me. Daddy was mean to me. Daddy didn't love my mom. Daddy. It's all the daddy stuff. So you're healing a lot of that at a deep soul level. And I love that for you. And I think it's going to be very powerful. Jupiter in the fifth house says be creative, be entrepreneurial, have fun, have play, enjoy. Venus says social media, online, writing, teaching, divining, and scrying, and happy endings after times of travail and difficulty when it comes to your social media, your online world, and your daily habits and routines. I like the fact that Jupiter is in a flow to Venus. It says that you're going to come into contact with the spirit of inspiration, enthusiasm, fun, play, and pleasure, creativity, art, and entrepreneurship. And maybe some of you will apply that to really taking your gifts and talents seriously when it comes to artistic talent, when it comes to your online social media presence, when it comes to your website, when it comes to matters to do with writing, especially. If any of you are Pisces who write, it's time to get back to writing. But divining, scrying, teaching, marketing, and selling, creativity, entrepreneurship, enjoyment, pleasure, and fun are all embedded in here. Did you want to have a baby? Jupiter can get you pregnant here. The moon is at the top of the sky, pregnant from home and announcing to the world there's a baby on the way. Otherwise, it's more about conceiving projects of art, creativity, entrepreneurial energies for you. If you're single, and you're looking for love and you want everyone to know about it, a destined new long-term committed love story with a soulmate fated person may enter your life in the 6 months that follows this lunation, especially with the North Node trining Jupiter in your fifth house of romance, creating a wedge to the South Node in the seventh house. I'm looking at a powerful, destined, fated new love story coming into the lives of some single Pisces, or if you're in a relationship that's ending, still within the 6 months that follows, you may come into a new relationship. And the lunation says you will share this excitement with the world and everyone will know about this thing. And in fact, if a new relationship is to emerge, look for people from foreign cultures, foreign lands, and foreign source to your own life. Okay. So I married a big fat Italian or something. I mean? It's going to be somehow different, like of a different culture, language, religion, or background for many of you if you go into a new relationship in the next 6 months. All right. Thanks for listening. Hopefully this has been useful, enjoyable, and helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It does help the channel grow, and I would really appreciate that. Come join me at Sky Reader and learn with me. I'm having outros now, but I left myself a mere 5 minutes before I have a consultation with my YouTube expert person. So here's my last little musing of reality. I've got a musing for you. I've been like binging on tarot channels lately. And what I've noticed is that the YouTube algorithm on my phone usually shows me exactly the reader I need at exactly the right time. And what I find is about life, you really can't do tarot card channels like I love Minnow Pond. You can't listen to every time he talks about Aries or Aquarius. You can't do it. Why? Because it's really not going to work. It's more along the lines of, the rotating dial, like when you go to a bingo hall and they and all the balls are bubbling around and then one ball drops on the bingo hall and, B52. That's what it's like with the tarot channels. It's not the same with the astrology. The astrology is like, it is archetypally the sky and it's true, but tarot is just a bunch of intuitive cards being splashed down divinatory style. And my knowledge and understanding binging on tarot channels, because I'm starting my own soon for fun and pleasure, enjoyment and play, because I want to have more expression. I want more fun, is that I find exactly the right message from exactly the right reader at exactly the right time. Is that crazy? So I want you to think about the divinatory art of astrology is the same way. Like you might only tune into me twice a month, but those are the 2 videos that you needed to hear. It's literally like all the tarot readers say, this is a general reading. If it applies to you, take it. If it doesn't, don't. Yes, I agree with that. And it's the same with astrology. You know, I will put a lot of videos out, but it'll happen to be you watch 3 or 4 out of my 20 a month, maybe, and you just go, oh my God, that really hit the mark. So it's kind of lovely how the reality structures work, and I'm loving the synchronicity of that. So my reflection of something I'm pondering lately is how exactly the right message at exactly the right time reaches me. That's exactly what I'm learning. And it's so exciting to see that. In fact, I just got a tarot reading by a young astrologer named Halen, and I'm going to share her information on another video because I was blown away. I haven't had anyone read me other than a palm reader, a friend of mine, for years. I'm pretty well, captain of my ship, so to speak. And there's that Aries. No one's telling me what to do. And I was blown away. I was blown away by her in-depth accuracy, and it was so affordable. So anyway, that's my reflection. Use astrology, use tarot, use all these mystical channels, but the understanding that if you are allowing for the random, not random pop-ups, of suggestions and recommendations from the algorithm is God's tool. It's one of the ways he shows us the way. She shows us the way. What pops up in your feed, what pops up anytime. I know we're being spied on. Like I talk about, I want to go to Bali. Suddenly I'm getting ads for Bali. I don't mean that. I mean, in a general way, like you're going to find, I was talking to my girlfriend and she used the word polyamory the other night. And next thing I know, YouTube algorithms showing me polyamory stuff. But what I want you to know is that use the internet that way. That's what I'm saying. It's a divination tool on its own right, and let the algorithm pop-ups direct you to the right reader at the right time with the right message, and then just trust that. All right, I gotta go. 2 minutes to my meeting with my YouTube advisor. Okay, guys, ciao. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I need to wash my hair today. Ciao.